Hey guys, this is a video on my thoughts on Games Workshop as a company and as a hobby from a beginner's perspective. Okay, I must stress that, a beginner's perspective, because I love the hobby, I love the product, but I don't love all the rumours and negativity that fly around, because it makes me wonder what is going on with the company as a whole. Now, for a start, I wish somebody would have told me how expensive this hobby was right at the start. Because I went in, I had the game, and I was introduced to it, and so I thought, well, obviously the rules, I'm going to need the rules to start this up, and there's 50 quid. Oh, 50 quid for the rules, but okay, we'll invest that, and then 7th edition comes out, but hey, that's another story. And he said, but you need a codex as well for whatever army, and I'm going, whoa, what else do I need? You need the paints, the models, the glue, the tools to do it with, and the know-how, let's not forget that, and the time. Yes, the biggest problem I have with it is the expense. But I love the game, I love the hobby, I love the miniatures. I think they are absolutely phenomenal, they're fantastic. And when you see them on the tabletop, it's just amazing, it blows me away. It's absolutely brilliant. And I love the painting and the assembly and the game, and I love everything about it. But it's damn expensive. Why is it so expensive, Games Workshop? Why? This game, I knew about it. I used to know about it back in the 80s when I was at school, my late 80s, and all the kids, geeky kids, are into it, and I wanted to be, but I thought that doesn't look cool enough if I'm seen doing that. But I did desperately wanted to be, but I just didn't. But it happened 7 months ago. Many years ago, I first saw about it because I was at school. Like I say, the kids were into it. It was very different back then. The thing I did do back then was I liked the fighting fantasy books. I was really into that. And my first glimpse of Warhammer was the role-playing game. And I bought a box of metal miniatures and painted them up rubbishly. I wasn't very good at that at all. I had about 3 paints. And it was awful. But the game is just, although I've only been into the hobby for 7 months, the game I know has changed so much since those early days, because you used to see kids, and I remember the kids were all into it back then. Kids were into Games Workshop, the whole Warhammer thing. I can remember seeing kids walking around to their mates' houses with big Games Workshop cases, and obviously their armies were in there and they were lugging them around, but they didn't need so many models back then, did they? I don't think the game has changed a lot since then. Probably a 500-point army would do you, whereas now you need a good 1,500-2,000 points to have a decent in-depth game of Warhammer 40k. And it's good that it changed to plastic then, isn't it? Because who's going to carry all that around? Not me, that's for sure. But anyway, the miniatures are fantastic, and the models themselves. I'm just looking at them, and I'm looking at my Imperial Knight. I've got a lot of work to do on him, but I'm thinking, what a cool model that is. But it's so damn expensive, and I've got a question: who is this hobby for now? I love the hobby because, I've got multiple sclerosis. Okay, a condition called MS, and some days are worse than others, but the hobby gives me such a focus on what I can do, and it really helps me. So I'm grateful and thankful for this hobby that I can do it. Had I known at the start the sheer expense involved with it, though, I probably, if I'm honest, would have veered off onto a different game or hobby. Maybe I've just concentrated more on the Airfix models, like this plane here, which I've got to paint up. Airfix and Revel and all that kind of stuff. I might have got into the historical war game, I don't know, or Infinity or War Machine. I may have done that, but the Games Workshop stuff looked cool. Like, you know, I got a book and a DVD all about it, and it hooked me. I was hooked, instantly hooked, and I thought I want to do that. And then the other thing that got my interest and kind of pretty much sealed it for me, if I'm honest, was a company called Mini Wargaming, and the stuff I saw of theirs on YouTube. And I think it's people like that and companies like that keep the hobby alive now, because it's not a hobby for children anymore, is it? Not the teenagers. It's a rich man's hobby, I think. I've got to be honest, I think it is. And yeah, yes, there's a lot of choice, but my goodness, it's just so expensive. Does it really need to be that expensive? I don't think it does. I understand that a company needs to make money. I mean, I've run my own business in the past, and I totally understand that side of it. But I also understand, I mean, to me, and this is just me as a beginner, it looks like they're kind of pushing people away, their core gamers, and that's their bread and butter, really, isn't it? And what are they doing? I have to question, what are they doing to attract new players into the game? I mean, if you take a starter set like Dark Vengeance, is that really to attract new players into the game? I don't think so. Well, yes, it's got the rulebook, which is cool, the little version of it, which is very, very handy. And I can't see any new person paying 70 quid for a box of miniatures that he has to assemble, glue and paint, and it doesn't give you the glues or the paints or any equipment to do that with. I just can't see new people, especially children, going for that. Not now with the you know, the internet and the computers and videos and things like that. This hobby is aimed, I think, more at the rich man. Well, you've got to be to afford it. I mean, where's it going to end? Is it going to end like I've done this? I've assembled this Imperial Knight. Okay, what if I want another one? Where's it going to end? Is it going to be, oh, I could do with a new car because my car's playing up now. But is it a new car on Imperial Knight? Ain't that far off it. And then there's I don't know enough about Games Workshop as a company. All right, I don't know enough about them because I haven't been around in the hobby that long. But it seems they make strange decisions on things, like different things. I think they could do with a more skirmish type game, a set of rules just for that, so that you could get started with a very, very small army, maybe like a 300 point army or something like that, and you get starter sets with that and the basic paints. I think instead of a box set was like 70 quid where you got, I don't know, what is it, 500 or 600 points aside, with all the rule book and everything. When you have a box with like 200 or 300 points worth, little skirmish set, but include a few paints, brush and glue, and some basic tips on how to assemble them, and then links to where you can go to find out more about it, or advertise some of the DVD and books that you can get, how to paint and how to model and stuff like that, and just point them to different areas on the internet where you can find out about this and watch the game grow, because like I said, it's companies like Mini Wargaming that keep this hobby alive. And examples of that are their narrative campaigns that they started doing, and they themselves have admitted that their Vault membership has increased since they started doing that exponentially, and I'm not surprised. When I started, I started out with a box of tactical marines. That's all I have. But my main army of choice now is Tyranids, and the reason for that is watching them being played in barracks on YouTube. That is where my interest came. I mean, the narrative campaigns that I've watched now, one they did back when involved orcs and blood angels, and I was really into them then. Whatever they do, I seem to get into, and I can't be the only person that does that. I mean, this latest one, they're using Sisters of Battle or Adeptus Sororitas, and, it's piqued me to start getting a couple, which I'm going to use in my deathmatch arena, but that's another video altogether. But watching them, and I learn the lore a bit as they play the game, and they talk about it, and it's really cool, and I'm thinking, wow, there's a lot more to this army than meets the eye. And it wouldn't surprise me if, due to the popularity of that, maybe more people will start buying those models. They might even get their own codex, proper codex, and be made in plastic. Who knows? I don't know. But it seems that Games Workshop are just churning out codex after codex, and new limited release after new limited release. I don't know what the deal is with that. Unfortunately, I'm totally hooked now, because I think their miniatures are second to none. I absolutely love it. I'm surrounded by it here. I can't get enough of it. I cannot. And I love reading all about the lore and watching bat reps and playing and painting and assembling. I mean, I'm in Hog's Heaven here. I just love it. But they've got me now. I can't leave. But if they're not careful, people will be leaving this hobby, and they probably are already, and going and finding cheaper ones because they just had enough. And if they're not careful, too many people will do that, and so their core group of gamers, which are essentially their customers, will diminish. And what are they just going to do? Keep bumping the price up for the remainder, who eventually will say, do you know what, enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. I love it, but I just can't financially. I've got a family to support. I've got to do this, do that, and I've got responsibilities, and I'm not a rich man, and it's a rich man's hobby, and I just can't do it. But it just feels to me like it's a rich man's hobby. And I will endeavour to try and make some videos to see where we can cut prices and help people budget more for this hobby. I think you've got to. If nobody else is doing it, then I'm gonna have a good blimmin' try at it. So I'll see what I can find. I don't know where I'm going to start yet, but there's alternatives to everything. Even if it was proxying everything, I don't know. We'll see. What with today's technology, I'm sure something can be sorted out. So yeah, my thoughts on Games Workshop as a company. I think they're a shrewd business, but a greedy one. And it seems to me that they're just all they're interested in is keeping their shareholders happy, bumping up the prices, and just giving them the money. But I don't know. I hear a lot of talk about people complaining about the codexes. That doesn't bother me. I like that it's not balanced. I don't want to play a balanced game. If I want to play a balanced game, I'll go and play a game of chess. That's a balanced game, because the two armies are identical. Boring. Don't want to do that. I'm not saying chess is boring per se, because I love that game, but in a game such as this, where you're using miniatures which are vastly different from one another, I think they should be different. Weaker and stronger and so on. Unfortunately, due to the price, you can't go out and buy every army and every model. I wish I could. Eldar, Dark Eldar and Tau, they seem to be the top three, don't they, of power armies. I don't have any of those. If I had the money, yeah, I'd go out and get full armies of them all. Then I could field which ones I wanted and ally which ones I wanted to. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Games Workshop. A good company, a great company. They've provided me with a very great outlet for my condition, which I'm happy to pay for and keep paying for as long as I can. But I wish they would do more for the beginner coming into the hobby. I think they need to encourage more new players. Could they not do a set of rules for these skirmish games and just, like I say, put these small box sets out, and then gradually they could increase their armies and so on. And you've got the Apocalypse games, which I've never played, and I to be honest, I don't know if I ever would want to play. It would just go on too long. But I love watching it. I watch it on YouTube or whatever. But it's just too long a game for me, that. But if they're doing the big games, you got your normal game, which seems to be getting bigger anyway, stretching out towards the Apocalypse size games. Why can't they do smaller ones? I mean, I just wish they could. Not only that, they help you learn the rules. I mean, the rules. I've just finished reading the rule book. What a minefield! That's like, it's so difficult. I'm never going to remember all that. I don't think anybody does, do they? Not every single rule. People have been playing it since they were teenagers, maybe. But I'm just coming into it now. Try and imagine coming into it now, not knowing a single damn rule. Well, I mean, I do now, but try and imagine you don't know a single rule, and you know where you're starting. It's just flipping through pages. Your first games are going to be just flipping through books here, left, right, and centre, and rolling dice, and not really knowing what the heck you're doing. When what you want to do is just get all out of the way. You know what you want to roll, and you know what you're rolling for, and it's moving the models and seeing it, and imagining the explosions and the, stomping your enemy into the ground and all that kind of stuff. That's what you want to do. Not flicking through books and trawling through rules and trying to pick out this, that, and the other. But yeah. So I have my thoughts are good company, good game, good hobby. But who is this hobby for? Who is it for now? Very expensive hobby. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Games Workshop. I'm going to put this in a new section in my playlist. So if you see this and there are no other videos in that playlist, fret not. I will have other ones coming soon with my thoughts on various different topics. Probably wargaming related, Warhammer, but you never know, there might be the odd other thing. But yes, so thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like. I know I'm just starting out and I'm not the best video editor in the world. In fact, I like these raw ones where I don't have to do any editing. I just press record and stop, and that's all I'll do here. But yeah, thank you for watching. Until the next time you see me and I see you, never know. Happy wargaming.